Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Peace Summit for Ukraine took place in Switzerland, and it is over. They came out with a communique and they signed some papers. In this video, I will show you what it requires, what that communique requires Russia to do, how many countries signed the communique, how many countries rejected the communique or abstained. Remember, Russia was not invited in the Peace Summit. That is, you have two warring or fighting parties. Let's say a police officer shows up at a house. There are some claims, accusations, allegations, and the police officer just arrests one person after talks to only the other one. Do you think that's fair? Of course not. In the case, let's consider that the police has the authority. This Peace Summit was a show. Why? It was a minority of countries that participated, and I will give you the numbers. Let's start with the first article that I have ready for you here. I will start with Associated Press, and this is from yesterday, June 16th, 2024. 78 countries at Swiss conference agree Ukraine's territorial integrity must be basis of any peace. First question. It seems like you like now this kind of communiques, but in case of Kosovo, you didn't. So that tells me these guys are trying to do something that Russia was trying to do when the garbage in Yugoslavia occurred. Yugoslavia, why? Because it was, I think it was Montenegro and Serbia. They were still together at that time in 1999, when the defensive alliance of NATO, without being attacked, bombarded a country without any declaration of war. Now that is illegal by international law standards. So now they like this kind of things, territorial integrity. But in Yugoslavia's case, no, we're going to form Kosovo. Now, let's go and see what's going on here. It's very interesting, and the picture is very, very much revealing who represents Ukraine. For my Ukrainian friends, and I know some of them, here you have a picture. And if you don't know the faces, I will point them out to you. The guy with the glasses, right? I personally don't know who that is. But I know the other one, the woman lost in space over there, is the Swiss representative. And then you have two Jewish people who represent the Ukrainian nation. And then you have an imbecile, Jake Sullivan of the United States of America, a weasel, average at best. So you have two Jews representing Ukraine. Nothing wrong with that. Well, I want to see two Romanians representing the United States of America. Why can't I see that? Is because we are dumb or something? Just a coincidence. Now, interestingly enough, it's not the foreign minister of the United States of America, which is Anthony Blinken. I say foreign minister so people understand exactly who that guy is. He's also Jewish. Just a coincidence, just so you know. So you have Yermak over there, and you have Zelensky. Now, why is Yermak showing up? If you look here, you don't see Yermak, the fat guy that looks like Weinstein. Yeah, he looks like Weinstein. That's that guy over there. See that guy? Now that guy is just the, how should I put it? The Ukrainian presidency. So how should I put it? The chief of staff of Zelensky. So he's the chief of staff. Do you know the American White House chief of staff, or the person who is in charge? Oh, he's Jewish, just so you know. Just a coincidence. Go and check him out. So have you seen that guy next to Biden in any international affairs? And if not, why not? So why is Yermak next to Zelensky and that? And there's nobody else. Because if you look at the American part, is only Sullivan. I know the picture doesn't show anybody else, but it's only one person. Only one person. There you have two, and two of the same kind. Here you have, next one. It says nearly 80 countries called Sunday for the territorial integrity of Ukraine to be the basis for any peace agreement to end Russia's 2-year war, though some key developing nations at the Swiss conference did not join in. The way forward for diplomacy remains unclear. So territorial integrity, they didn't do this in the case of Yugoslavia. So this is just a show. Now you like that when it works against you, that the Russians are kicking your butt in Ukraine. Now you like it. Then you didn't. Why? Russia was weak. They had Boris Yeltsin at that point. Not anymore. Not no more. So they like this. Who appointed you as the referees, the judges? None. This is a matter that concerns actually the United States of America and Russia primarily. And then, unfortunately, the big victim here are the Ukrainian people to the biggest extent, and to the smaller extent, the Russian people. The rest should stay the fuck out. But they don't. Why? Because they're called in by the boss, and the boss is Al Capone, the United States of America. Now you have 78 countries. Take about 44 countries out, and the rest is the countries that were, we're going to show up. Here are some donations for you, some aid. Remember, this world has 193, sometimes 194 countries. These were 78. All right, so 78. 78 is not even 50%, so that's a minority. So fuck off. How about that one? No. Now minority is more important than majority, because that's the way it works in democracies. No problem, no problem. This was just organized by Al Capone together with the interests behind Al Capone, because if you think the United States of America is in charge here, no. The United States of America is just a weapon, the biggest weapon on that camp, biggest weapon. Now the handlers of that big weapon, you can find it in the financial interest first, then in economic interest, which are big corporations, and the third one are specifically the American military industrial complex. These are the three. Why? Look at the profiteers. Look at the energy sector as well. So the joint communique capped a 2-day conference marked by the absence of Russia. Why? Not invited. Which was not invited. Many attendees expressed hope that Russia might join in on a roadmap to peace in the future. Hey, buddy, you don't tell me if I should come to your little garbage. So this is the way it goes. There are some countries that have nothing, no authority. No authority, that's not United Nations. No authority. They just got together, they didn't invite Russia, and they will be the ones that will decide if Russia should be invited in the future. Maybe Russia doesn't want to be invited to your garbage. Exactly, they don't even want. Why? Because they don't give you the authority. Switzerland is not a neutral country, hasn't been for some time. So forget about it. They still play look at this one. Oh my God, let me see this picture. I gotta show you. And if you don't think this is idiotic, well, Mr. Castro, look at this guy. Look at this. Look at his face. Look at Justin Trudeau, the tyrant Trudeau, and the little Jewish guy clinging to him like a child. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the Justin Trudeau's face. Baby, I'm gonna give it to you. Shit. And the other one is like, help me, the abuser. Holy moly. Anyway, so let's see further what do we have in this article. It says about 100 delegations, mostly Western countries. Yes, because these are the ones that, whenever you see at the United Nations something pushed by the United States, and you have about 40 or 50 countries support, those are the vassal states of Al Capone's plantation. Usually the European countries from European Union, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Palau, Nauru, and Palau Kapalulu to Pakapasapalulu, countries you never heard of. No offense, but that's how it is. Some countries are important because they have economic, military, and political power, and some countries are not, like for instance Albania or Romania. They have a strategic position in the case of Romania, and that's it. They will use it like a whore. Who's they? The Defenses Alliance of NATO and the economic how do you call it, imperialistic power of the European Union, who is actually at the whim of the forces that are behind the United States of America as well. Let's see. Kamala Harris showed up over there, so you can understand the level. Even if Biden would have showed up, it would have been the same thing. So we have here, it says, they included presidents and prime ministers from France, Germany, Britain. These are the organizers of, Japan, Poland, Argentina, Ecuador. Argentina is the Milei, the pimp of Argentina. Kenya and Somalia. Ooh, and Ecuador. The Holy See was also represented. That is the Pope. Why is the Pope represented? Why the Pope showed up? Ukraine is mostly Eastern Orthodox. The Russians are Eastern Orthodox. You know why? Because sometimes we think only in lifetime span. Oh my God, no, these guys look in centuries. So the Holy See, the Pope over there, and whomever was represented. Why was it represented? I would like to know if, let's say, I don't even know how to call it, the Islam was represented. I want to know if the Buddhists were represented. They have the same, how should I put it, authority to be over there as the Greek Orthodox Church. Was it over there represented? If not, why not? Because you know who is who and what is what. I told you many times about Stefan the Great, the Romanian king, and he said like this, on his deathbed, he fought all his life, the Turks mainly, then the Tatars, the Poles, all these guys were invading him. The Poles, the Poland, ooh, okay. And the Hungarians, they tried to invade, and he said, you know what, guys, you better trust the Turk than the guys in the West. And I was like, when I read this, I was very young at that time, I said, what the hell, King Stefan, what are you talking about? Well, with time, I got to understand the perversity and double face. That's you want to see that? No inch eastward expansion of NATO. That was promised by whom? By someone in 1991, was it? And that how should I put it? Gentleman agreement was ignored when the Russians said, "Remember that?" And they said, the Americans said, "Do you have anything on paper?" And the Russians said, "Oh, we don't." Then, all right. So it says here, India, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates, represented by foreign ministers or lower-level envoys, were among countries that did not sign the final document. Mr. Lula da Silva was not, Modi was not, of India. Were not the countries that did not sign the final document, which focused on issues of nuclear safety, food security, and exchange of prisoners. Brazil, an observer, did not sign on, but Turkey did. China did not attend. Clearly, China had the biggest balls, to tell you the truth. The final document, signed by 78 countries. Remember, we have 193 countries in the world. So that's not even not half. So bye-bye. But nevertheless, right? So this is one thing. Then the second article. Italian Prime Minister Meloni describes Putin's ceasefire offer for Ukraine as propaganda. So what happened? Putin reiterated the conditions under which there will be a ceasefire from Russia's side, and that was issued towards Ukraine and the Western backers, or not Boris Becker, but backers, the sponsors as they call them. And obviously he reiterated the 4 points why Russia invaded Ukraine. These guys are telling you it was unprovoked. I disagree with that 100%. I'm not saying the Russians are the victims. I'm saying that the organizers are far away from the territory of Ukraine or Russia. Now, Italian Prime Minister Meloni describes Putin's ceasefire offer as Ukraine as propaganda. Well, this is like this. You have a victim, let's say a woman, and you have a perpetrator, a criminal who would like to provide her with some unwanted physical pleasure, which is a rape, right? So, and she says, "It hurts, don't do it, blah, 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 blah." And then some people, observers like Meloni, said, she's just saying that. All right? So she assigns or ascribes intent, and she knows that it's just propaganda because she knows that. Well, okay. So this is how imbecilic our leaders are. Now, next article. comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Switzerland seeks discussing peace summit with Russia and China. So Switzerland still thinks that it is a neutral country in political affairs. You're not. And they told you so. The Russians told you so, and the Chinese don't even talk to you. But nevertheless, on the Chinese now they play as the emissaries. They go to the Russians, they already spoke with the Russian embassy and say, we will communicate to you and we will be the sealant, between you and the whatever we decided, the minority of countries. And this is the role they assigned to them, ascribed to themselves. I'm talking about the Swiss. If this wouldn't be serious, it would be laughable. It's a parody. Parody, my friends. All right, and we have the same here from New Voice of Ukraine. 80 countries and plus 4 organizations signed global peace, global with a minority of countries. Global Peace Summit communique right there. If you don't believe me, and you shouldn't believe me, you should verify, you should be skeptical. Everything I say, you should verify. Everything everyone says, unless that person builds trust with you. That is, you don't catch that person lying. That means it's not lying. So, Global Peace Summit. Russia not invited, would not have participated. Why? It's not between me and you. It's between me and that specific you. And that specific you needs to talk to me directly. We don't need, little fuckers around weasels. I'm Switzerland. You're nothing. Stay over there with your fucking Alps. Make the chocolate, all right, and your watches and bye, okay? There's not a Swiss watch anyway. So, why? Because I don't like that one, that particular one. Breitling, my friends, Breitling. Is that Swiss? Anyway, my friends, here it is. These guys attribute themselves authority they don't have, a minority of countries. And some of them were organizers. And why should you believe Germany and France? Remember, they were the guarantors of the Minsk agreements. And Poland was also a guarantor of how to call it? It was not the Minsk agreements, but Poland also said ceasefire was a guarantor. Where are they? Anyway, here is, my friends. This is the summit. It will go nowhere. It was dead before it just got pooped out. Let's put it this way. This is your summit for you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.